Welcome to the Brew For The Crew podcast, the one podcast where you get to know about your brew, get to know about the crew, and you get to know all the latest news about the Milwaukee Brewers. How's it going, everybody? It's me, Mischief, here, and welcome to my new podcast, the Brew For The Crew podcast. And as I've said in the intro, we are going to be going about various brews of coffee, as well as the brewers themselves and what needs to happen to make this team the best that it can be and to reach the World Series. I figured that the greatest place would be to start with an intro to the podcast before we start with anything else regarding the Brewers or regarding anything else. Obviously, as from the title, you can tell that this is the pilot episode where I kind of explain the beginning to this podcast, what came into the idea, and how this is going to operate. I came up with this podcast idea while I was sitting on Christmas, I believe 2 years ago, when my mother actually got me this mug, the Brew Crew official licensed mug. And I was like, I like coffee and I love the Brewers, so I figured, I wonder if I could find a way to make a podcast about both of them together. Today's blend is just a regular breakfast blend for anyone who would like to know. But yeah, other than that, there's just going to be a whole lot of me talking about how much I love coffee and me talking about how much I love the Brewers. I've been following the Brewers for quite some time now, and I've come to realize that I wanted to talk about them more in-depth to people rather than just keep it to myself, because I feel like I have some pretty decent ideas on how you could definitely make this team great, and I want to put myself out there, and I want to see if anybody will happen to agree with me on some of these points. But yeah, I'm going to be going over every few intervals and just making a podcast episode, whether it be about free agency, whether it be about recent trades, whether it be about spring training, whether it be about the good prospects that are going to come up, whether it be about mid-season trades, etc., etc. I'm just going to be giving you guys updates to the Brewers as stuff comes along. I'll be giving you my thoughts on what they should change or what they should keep doing. And overall, this is just going to be kind of like a ripoff of Tom Grassi's Patcast, except it's going to be for the Brewers. I would like to give thanks to the artist on Fiverr that I commissioned for this beautiful logo of the Brew For The Crew podcast. I will leave a link to their description on Fiverr, as well as their name right here. And I'd like to thank you all so much for looking into this podcast. It means a lot to me. And I hope that we can maybe make this podcast a little bit greater. But with that out of the way, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the very first episode of the podcast. I hope that you will tune in for the rest. And thank you guys. I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.